Oh, yeah?
See that, is he here? Or you got him?
Hey, he says, I'm going to town, but I got two of the schools, good thing. Oh, yeah.
We're good.
That's what he said.
You got him?
Yeah.
Jason, can you hear us? Yeah, I'm on.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yep, we're good.
Okay, we'll begin the meeting. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is any,
I'd like to strike out 10. I didn't get any information.
10?
Yep, I'd like to strike that out from tonight.
okay, we're gonna. Is Mike on the agenda?
Yep, department reports.
Oh, department reports, okay.
And then Jason, with regards to the softball correspondence, is that something to add next week?
As far as
Jackie's email?
either way is fine.
This is Doug, I anticipated talking about that next week, that's why I didn't put it on the agenda.
Yeah, next week is fine.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as striking number 10.
Kieran made the first motion to approve the agenda with canceling 10 out.
I'll second that.
Ryan seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Item 2 is our public comments, where we give the public an opportunity to speak, and it looks like everybody that is here is on the agenda. So we will move on to item 3, senior citizen meals. I met Marla Keys the other day, and we were talking about some stuff, and she wanted to visit with us, the city council, and just talk about a few things about senior citizen meals. So go ahead, Marla, you have the floor.
Thank you, thank you. As he said, I am Marla Keys. I'm with Area 4 Senior Nutrition, and our corporate office is in Aberdeen. We do serve 16 counties, and in Brown County we serve Hecla, Aberdeen, and Groton. Currently, the nutrition contract is held by Red Horse, and Keith Landwehr, who I understand Mayor Scott, you met recently, purchased it. He is a Minnesota man that purchased Red Horse, and he said that you told me that you guys met and visited, and he was interested in maintaining the program. He said, gosh, no, I want that program to continue in town because Darren Locke had carried the program at Red Horse while he ended. So Keith was willing. He shut the cafe down short term, and I think is hoping to reopen. That's not my business, but anyway, I know it's not open to the public right now, but they are doing senior nutrition, and they're in contract with us, fully compliant, and doing a wonderful job. Barb Polkamp is running the program for them. So we're very, very grateful for Keith's interest in the community, and more especially your senior population. I do want to apologize publicly. I was misquoted, or things were maybe taken out of context in last week's Aberdeen Insider edition about our contract in Groton. So if anybody saw that and has any questions, you can certainly talk to me about that. But there were some, that I did frankly say, no, we do not currently get any support from the city of Groton. And that is not untrue. I have sent multiple letters to this address asking to come to city commission meetings or meeting with someone, and I have never heard back from anyone. So I probably will email you
Yeah,
in the
I can
future
certainly
to
spread, yeah.
visit, or now we have phone we can visit directly so that I can ask to come and we can do collaborative things to serve the community as well as we possibly can. Barb Polkamp is present, so she obviously, in the community would be able to answer questions whenever you need. But, you guys are currently, serving quite a few people, but the problem is the lack of financial support. So we can get into the number of people that we're serving, but I wanted to point out that right now on average, we are receiving about $1 per meal from your residents that are paying, and there's a suggested donation price of $5. We did see a slight increase in that most recently. And so to help you better understand, Area 4 Senior Nutrition is a nonprofit that's in contract with Department of Human Services out of Pierre. And we receive enough funding to cover about 40% of our operating expenses from that grant. This last year, I received $1.4 million. The rest of the money to operate is monies that we collect from people who pay that suggested donation of $5 in their communities. And then, of course, we do fundraising, I do grant writing, and then we have what is called our Supporter Card Challenge, in addition to our Adopt a Senior campaign. So first, the Supporter Card Challenge is part of the requirement of our grant with Department of Human Services. The feds have attached a requirement that we raise 10% of that total grant to show that the communities are understanding, accepting, and supporting our presence and necessity of serving their senior citizens. And so it's a way for communities to give back. So what we do is take that 10%, which this last year was $140,000, and we divide it by all the 21 communities that we serve. And then we assign a dollar amount to a community. And so Groton has never raised their total amount. We get very little response from the people that we send the letters to that receive the meals every day. And so what we were hoping was if we could get the city more involved and maybe have a little bit larger presence, that we would be able to increase that dollar amount of support for the program overall, but also just support of Red Horse. Because we pay them $6.60 a meal, but they're only turning in $1 per meal.
And who prepares the meal?
Red Horse, and he's buying all of the groceries.
Okay,
And he's paying
who
the
actually
electric bill and-
prepares it, Barb or the
Barb
food?
is actually doing the cooking.
The cooking?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then we have a menu that we give them. We provide them a computer, we provide them a printer, we supply everything to run the business. We give them the menu that's approved by the state dietitian to
Okay.
be 1/3 of all of the health requirements of a senior citizen according to the USDA regulations. And so then she prepares that according to those standards, and then she has volunteers, or it's them who end up having to deliver it if the volunteers don't come. So right now I think we have Dakota Bank assisting in some deliveries, and then Rosemary Howard is on our board, and she also assists with deliveries, and then there's a couple other community members
Okay.
that go and help deliver meals. So if any of you are ever interested, contact Barb down at the Red Horse, and you could pick a day a month.
Are you gonna tell us how many people we have in town?
Of course, yep. You guys serve anywhere from 16 to 20 a day. This last month with Barb's efforts, she had your collection up to $2. She and Rosemary have been going around house by house and doing updated paperwork. So, a little bit of government information. The current administration did not cut any funding to us. However, they did say that they're going to make it more and more difficult to approve people for home delivery almost your entire community is home delivered. So we have to have updated information collected by October 1st that justifies the means to continue to receive home delivered meals. Either that or they need to join the congregate setting, which Red Horse is currently opening every day for an hour and a half for people to go in and have lunch. And then there's also the option to go pick up their meal there and take it home. But the cost of preparing a meal to be delivered or to have it picked up is crazy. I mean, it's about, I have the exact number. If we have to pay mileage to a volunteer, it can be up to $4.42 a meal. We try to keep all of our meal costs at $3 just for food. But then when you have containers and then we have to give milk, we have to do bread and butter, we have to do a half a cup of fruit, and those things are not in with the hot food, packaged in with the hot food, so then you have the hot food container. And then you have the bags that the hot foods go in to try to keep the ambient heat in the containers. So it can be anywhere from $3.72 to $4.42 a meal cost, but we're paying Red Horse $6.60 a meal. So it's almost, it just doesn't, it's just really hard. And that's why in the newspaper, I think it was quoted like the program is not sustainable long term. And then I think that it was maybe taken out of context to say, you know, we don't know how long this contract's gonna last. And that's not at all. I mean, we want the program to work and we want to continue to serve the community, but we do have to have this support. I did ask Brown County for $1,000 more this year than last year, just because we are serving, obviously in Brown County, the most people of our district, because we go all the way out to Campbell and Corson and Walworth, down to Sully, Potter, Stanley, Hughes, Falk, and then Spink, and then we have Day and all the way over to the Minnesota border. So we have the whole northeast corner and a lot of north central. And those other counties are serving half the amount of people that Brown is, and for quite a bit more a year that they're sponsoring us. So I did ask Brown County to increase the amount of their giving, and they were very receptive. Of course, that has not been approved, but they've
Where
been
do you
very
go,
good to
all in
us.
Brown County, Hecla, Groton, where else?
Aberdeen.
In Aberdeen.
And then Aberdeen also serves Millette, but Millette is actually in Spink.
Millette?
Yeah,
Is in Spink, she said.
Oh, yeah, Millette's in Spink.
Yeah. So today I'm here asking for the city's support to help the program stay strong and buoyant.
Well, like I was telling her, this is the first I've heard about this. I knew we had senior citizen meals, but I had no information about anything about it.
Right. Yeah,
Until,
What
Huh?
other towns around our area do they, like you do-
counties or towns.
Towns, I mean, like, another Highmore, I'd be kind of close to, population.
Yeah,
They're in
They're
the-
not in my district, so I can't say as a town.
Well, how about Redfield? Redfield's a little bit bigger. Are they not in your district?
No, they're in my district and they fund us very, very strongly. It's
City
over
does?
$5,000 a year. And Spink County is even stronger. But we do have two sites, you know, two communities in Spink, so then they take that into consideration, I'm sure. Redfield has a very strong program, very large program. And Barb wants to build your program. She would love to see
Do-
that Red Horse full. You know, she would love to have it full with people.
do
and
we
serving
have
as
people
many
that
people.
still aren't getting fed?
Yes. I would imagine people that just don't know about it. And that's the other thing that Barb and the new owner Keith are willing to do is to get education out there. And that's why we need to build alliances. That's why I need to be present in front of
Right.
people like this to
Right.
get to know the newspaper and ask that things get put in the newspaper, and so that people know as of age 60 you are eligible for $5 a meal and you're getting a really nice square meal.
So if the city decides to participate going forward, what kind of funding are you looking for from us?
Today, I was going to ask for $1,500.
Okay, and that would sustain us through what?
I would ask for that for fiscal year '26. And our fiscal year started July 1st. So, I know I can't ask for past years.
No, that's fine.
So,
But
I'm
going
just
forward,
asking.
from this point forward, to what point does that $1,500,
For one fiscal year, so
one
July 1st
fiscal year,
through
$1,500?
June.
Okay.
Do you only qualify by age, or is it?
There's no income. The only other qualification is for home delivery. You know, there's those standards you have to meet the needs. So you have to have a visual impairment or, you know, be unable to get to the site for some reason.
So the $1,500 covers the food and the delivery costs for
No,
1 year?
ma'am.
Just food
We're just
costs?
asking for that support. That $1,500 would probably not pay her food bill for 2 months.
Do you know if anything's been done or said at the seniors, the senior citizens
How's
have
the
a
arm? Is it
meeting,
okay?
weekly or monthly at the community center?
I would be very happy to go if you could lend me a resource, and I'd love to go and get the word out there too, encourage them. You know, I'm sure Barb would also deliver meals there if, you know, because if we have 1 or 3 people in one setting eating together, we can consider it congregate.
Okay.
And the government doesn't shy near as much on that, because the whole idea, our mission in this program for Department of Human Services is to keep people on your tax roll longer, living more independently and able to, you know, be contributing members of your community. So the idea is if we can get them with a purpose every day, out of the house, getting ready to go down for lunch, visit with people, and then you hear, you know, did your grandkids come for the weekend? And, you know, oh yeah, well, did you hear about the sale that's happening at the Catholic Church this weekend? Well, then they might go out for that too. And then while they're out, they'll probably stop at the pharmacy. You can only hope, you know, so that they're accessing 4 or 5 different things while they're out in the community.
I can certainly get you access to the president of the senior citizens, I have that contact information.
I would appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
How about the transit, when we're not busy, like during the school year, like around lunch hour, could they help out with delivering meals? Is that, maybe that's something to reach out to?
We have a lot of communities that have their city transit that helps.
I would imagine like we
I mean,
would, but
because
I can't speak
Eureka,
for them, but yeah.
Webster, Mobridge.
Yeah, it's just right across the street from here.
Yep, they all have community transit helping deliver meals at noon.
You know, if they're out and about.
They also pick people up and take them to
I was
the
gonna say
congregate
they could do
setting.
the other way around, and
Mhm.
pick them up and take them.
That's what we
to
would
the-
rather,
Yeah.
is to have the people present, yeah.
I mean, we have a good communities in there, it's.
If they're physically able to do that.
And I think with the current administration, we're only gonna see those homebound restrictions get tighter and tighter and tighter. So it's gonna be harder and harder for us to meet the needs of those people. So someone will have to pick their meal up at the site and take it to them. And they're supposed to start signing for it if they don't qualify, or if they qualify, they're supposed to sign for it themselves as of October 1st, according to the Department of Human Services. That's a new federal regulation. So it's gonna become harder and harder for
60 or
people.
above, right?
60 or above.
60.
But I would guess that we currently in Groton probably don't serve anybody under 75.
Mm.
There's a gap in every one of our communities. It's actually a national trend that people from 60 to 75 don't utilize the service because they're still able to prepare for themselves, or a lot of people are working still.
Right.
And it is, you know, a form of social welfare to some degree, so I think people have pride too, and they don't want to, you know, take a cheaper meal or something like that from the Department of Human Services. But we would love to have, no matter what, I mean, if you feel like you wanna pay $8 instead of 5, the program can use it,
Sure.
you know?
Right.
And I could
And you
just
can
pay
go
for
there and
meals
order a
for
meal, and you can pay whatever their daily rate is for the meal that
Yeah,
they're
I'm sure
preparing.
she'd be able
If
to.
you're not 60,
sure we're willing to give you guys some money.
Okay,
It'd be nice to have everybody here,
sure.
so I guess for now, we needed to hear from you.
Yep.
And you needed to tell us what's going on, so we know, because I think a lot of us didn't really realize
Mhm.
what's going on.
Mhm. It would be nice if, we could set it up so that you guys could come to Red Horse maybe one evening or one day at noon, if you could, for 30 minutes, and we could show you the menu and show you how they pack out and.
What time's this all happen?
About 11:30,
11:30 to 1?
yes.
Mhm. Yes.
11 to 12:30, I think, is when she offers the congregate meal, because I think Barb works a second job, so.
Yeah, I think Barb works at
She works at
Ken's.
Ken's.
And
Yeah.
VFW, I think.
Legion.
too. Or Legion, thank you.
Yeah.
But I think they pack all the to-go meals first, and
Yes.
then they serve the public.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Marla, council? Well,
Thank you very much
yeah,
for your
and
time.
thank you for coming in, and
Yeah.
we're gonna do some talking, and we'll get you guys some,
Of course.
assistance for this,
Sure.
because,
And I'll
because
send
we
my,
need to.
email to you and reach out to you, and we can connect with other resources in
we
the
got a
community
speaker
and
right there.
get more involved.
Did you send an email to Doug?
Just so you know.
Marla, I'm actually gonna go grab you one of my business cards.
Cause he has this on YouTube too, I think. I asked him
How much
what
we pay
the
them
big
and, yeah,
setup was
Yeah.
over there.
sure, sure.
I didn't write down fast
People
enough.
said they couldn't hear us, so
But I think
yes.
there's a lot of collaboration that can occur with different organizations.
I think so too. Yep, I did send a letter to all the churches in town asking for help with deliveries, and then, thank you very much. And then I also sent an email to the school, because a lot of our National Honor Societies have to have certain volunteer hours to, meet the qualifications of their program. And so, we have 4 communities currently during the school year that have their National Honor Society students that deliver one day a week.
I would just, yeah,
So that's a good opportunity also.
where the kids
And
can
then
help out.
banks have a certain number of hours that they're supposed to give back, do community service, and so that's, Dakota Bank is really good about that. We have 5 locations that have a Dakota Bank, and so they deliver in almost all of our communities,
Okay.
so.
Alrighty, well, thank you.
Thank you
For
for
coming
having
in.
me and all of the interest, I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'm just sorry we haven't connected before now,
Yeah.
because you've all been very
Yeah.
warm and interested, so.
Alright,
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
best wishes to you.
Thank you.
our department reports. Dwight, what do you got for us?
Coming up, hopefully, we got about 1,500 feet this year, we're gonna reline, got that lined up. And Derek, we're Brian here earlier, he's gonna be coming in a little bit later in August to do some repairs that need to be done, we got some broken pipe and stuff. And he had bid that out
We did that.
months ago, I told
Yeah,
that,
that
of about 20 grand. I got together with Green Municipal, Tool, they're doing a job in Aberdeen, so they're coming down here. So we saved a ton on mold there, and same way with our jetters, so hopefully it'll all come together.
Boy.
Usually don't, but we'll see how things go. But, so that's all coming up, I've been sweeping, and we're getting plenty of water yet, not with all the rain, so we'll just keep on, we had pump go down here and stuff, but no, we're doing what we're doing like every other year, so.
The pump that went down got fixed.
I haven't got it back yet, it's being repaired right now, yeah, I haven't, yeah, then I'll have to get on the horn with Ken here and see what, we haven't heard nothing from when that gets started up. Getting things upgraded on that too, so. But that's pretty much that's all I have for
Okay.
right now.
Council, anything for Dwight?
Have you heard anything from Ken with regards to the wastewater project, anything? I know that he mentioned starting to look at it in December, do the design, but
This December?
Yeah,
He chatted with me today about, moving forward with getting some of those easements, the construction easements started, or doing the initial
Can I-
reaching out. He called me today, he was gonna possibly chat with you later, but,
Who was that?
Ken was mentioning that he
Ken.
wants to start doing the initial asks with, some of the easement.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I think there's just two properties, the Kronbergers and Andersons, I believe. I think it's Kronberger, south.
And so,
Well, with that, thank you for everything you do. We appreciate it.
yeah, thank you guys.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Terry, what do you have for us?
Oh, not a lot.
I see you guys are doing put some fresh gravel down, huh? Or on the streets like
Yep.
we had talked.
Yep.
Yep.
We got, prime streets, we're gonna prime them, we'll have the waterman pack them tomorrow. Our roller's gotta go back tomorrow, we've had it a month, so,
Okay.
but, yeah, we've been doing all the patching, we're all done with that now, pretty much, so. And we got the dust proofing done too, by the ballpark, golf course,
The what?
the dust proofing streets,
Oh, okay.
we got them all done too. So they look good.
Got his street, didn't you?
Mine's good.
I guess we got the blue truck and that truck we, haul asphalt with down at Zellner's. We're switching the tires on.
Okay.
The new ones are brand new. The other ones are used, so we took that down there today, so
Okay.
it should be done by tomorrow, I would think.
Out to Arlen's?
Yep.
Okay.
They're about the only ones around that does it now.
Yeah,
Richie doesn't do it anymore, so,
yeah,
so.
yep.
Started spraying weeds around town too, along the curbs and stuff, so we'll get that done this week. Mowing seems to be a headache this year.
Kinda,
They got the state tournament this weekend too, plus the Summer Fest,
yeah.
so Aaron's kinda.
So is that guy that sprays for bugs behind the camera gonna have the park fit?
We'll be
Fit
spraying
for
tonight.
human
8:45 tonight, right, or
people?
8:30?
Yeah, I thought I heard you were gonna go out tonight.
Other than that, I haven't heard nothing from Jensen yet, when they're coming in, but they usually, I don't think they can come in till August 1st,
For the,
chip seal.
okay,
So, I reached out to him about sweeping the chips up, but he said he crunched some numbers, I told him what I get per block for picking them up, but he's never gotten back to me. He was gonna crunch the numbers, see if it was worth him picking them up for us, but
okay.
I charged him $150 a block when I pick them up, so.
I suppose that probably depends on how busy they are too.
Yeah, the other contractor just had to do it, and then I just take it off to.
Right, right, you know,
But
yep,
we're gonna do Olson's development, and there's 4 blocks around Fifth Avenue and Fifth Street by Doug Hamilton's and the log cabins there.
okay,
And then we're gonna double seal the prime and double seal the ones on Fourth and.
the
Second.
gravel ones,
Yep,
they get double sealed,
yeah, that's what we've been doing, it works out pretty well,
okay,
cause I don't get back to them right away, so.
yeah,
So other than that, Main Street will have to be done next year, it's been 5 years, too, so.
okay.
Does that mean you're gonna stay on for another year?
What's that?
Does that mean you're staying on for another year?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Put him on the spot here.
I think $5 is too bad for them, I think it's hard to go out for lunch for $20.
Yeah.
But other than that, things are going good, I guess.
Are we still doing the notification of residents when they're planning to do the work?
What's that?
So when it comes to the chip sealing?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that before,
Okay.
yep, when it gets closer to that.
To do what?
Yeah,
To notify the
that's
residents
all
when
you
chip
can
sealing
do.
starts.
Oh, yeah.
Cars.
Maybe if, if it's August 1st, might not be a bad thing to do probably next week,
Yeah.
anticipated
About it.
around that time frame, and then do
Maybe I'll-
another follow-up.
Let me call them and I'll, maybe they'll give me an idea.
A better finalize that. You can never over-communicate.
Yep, but it's a pain every year because there's always
forgets.
Lots the card, don't know where to keep, don't have a
Any-
tow truck in town either, so it's kinda tough.
Any other questions, council? Well, with that, Terry, thank you for everything you do for us, we appreciate it, and, thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
Todd and Doug, last two reports. Todd's
I
over
can,
here.
I can go
Selector.
first.
Okay.
I don't have
Well,
much to.
Todd, you got the floor.
Oh, well, yeah.
Here he comes,
Oh, there he is.
usually we
What
have
do
to
you
call
wanna
him
know?
in.
Come on.
Come on
what do you
in,
wanna know?
come on, you got
It's
it.
going good. You got the alley done in your block, so you're set.
See?
See, the mayor got it first.
That's good.
No, we're gonna keep going down another 2 blocks, then move over between Highway 37 and First and go from the school down to.
Yeah.
So that's next on the project. Move the transformer for the crow's nest at the school this week.
See you guys were out there.
Yeah, got that done. Otherwise just,
Would you guys use that, the, what do you call it, the water, big water pick?
oh, the back?
Yeah,
Yeah, we used it, yeah.
how'd it work?
It works great.
Good.
Yeah, it saves us a lot of money.
Good.
Used the mini quite a bit. Got that,
Good.
the wire back so we could cut it in one end and bring it back and add onto it. No,
Okay,
it's going really good.
good.
Yeah. Had a little windstorm 2 weeks ago, so that's kinda 3 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, you had a little ordeal with that tree I seen, but,
Yeah, that happens.
you know,
But
that
In the
happens.
scheme of things, that wasn't a huge deal.
No,
Yeah, no, things are going good.
good. Any questions, council, for Todd? Anything for us?
No, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for everything you do, and
Yep.
thank you for when the storms hit, and keep power on for us, and
Yeah,
keep
no
us
problem.
safe.
Yep.
So, appreciate that. Alrighty,
Okay.
do we gotta have him here for that,
I'm not leaving
for
for that.
5, huh? What's that? You gonna be here for,
Yeah.
huh?
You will.
He'll stick around? Okay,
Sure,
alright,
no problem.
alright. If
Um,
you would, that would be great.
I'll be
Yep.
quick. Okay, I don't have much.
What-
Doug's got a department report.
I don't have much to add. I
Yeah.
wanted to update people on our, they did start doing the sweep. That seems to be going well. It's actually really, really nice.
The
We've
what?
already gained, the sweep account, we've already gained a pretty good
Oh.
chunk in investment. I haven't checked it recently, but they started
Okay.
sweeping on the 24th. We figured out how to do the bank reconciliation with that now too, and that'll move pretty swimmingly. Actually, the thing I'm really liking out of it at this point, I didn't know if I would, I thought it'd be a headache. The positive pay is really nice. I actually talked with our auditor today, and she said it was a really good move on our end to do that. There's been a lot of issues with municipalities having fraudulent checks written that don't even look like the city's checks, just using routing and account numbers. And it seems to be an issue that she has every year, so it was nice to see the positive pay. Basically, anything that cuts through the city that I didn't already approve through a check file, it gets sent to my phone or my email for me to go through and manually accept or deny it.
Oh, that's
It adds another chain of security if someone were to get a hold of our account information and want to utilize our money. So yeah, that's that. Another bigger thing, and then yesterday Dwight and I went to crisis track training. FEMA is changing the way that or at least our local emergency management is changing the way that they're doing submissions when it comes to, if you have FEMA come in for a disaster, they have you do kind of an electronic app kind of thing. I know Brian loves those. But you basically, it's really efficient. We went yesterday to that. It was a really good training. I think it'll be, if we ever do have a disaster come through, it sounds like a way to streamline you getting paid. Changes a 2-month time frame that FEMA tends to cut any sort of checks if something happens to like 2 weeks. So that could really help things out in the future if, heaven forbid, something happened in the crisis realm. Other than that, not too much other stuff going in our office, just kind of keeping things afloat. So that's all I kind of had.
You said was it June 24th that we started that?
Yep. So this next month will be our first, of course, or no, next month, this current month we're in will be our first full month with a sweep account to see how it goes. Definitely muddies up our bank statements. They look a little goofy with transfers in and out every day.
So
But
that'll be continuous forever?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
it'll always maintain a $100,000 balance at the end of the day at 4:30 every day. It sweeps whether you have $95,000 in there, it'll sweep 5,000 back into the account, or if you have 105,000, it'll sweep the 5,000 back down. Always maintaining that target balance. Yeah, that's all I had.
Any questions, council, for Doug? Okay, well, thank you for doing what you do, and, we appreciate that. Mike, you're the next guy up. You step forward into the light. Either that or sit down and tell us what you got going.
Okay, well, Chad, or Doug and I were discussing the possibility of abatements for people that are not complying.
Okay,
And we haven't done one yet. And that means if we do, I mean, the city and I would go onto the property and abate correct the violation and bill the property owner.
how would that work if they don't pay? Would that,
Well, then you have the option of assessing that against the property or filing a lien against the property.
okay,
If they don't pay the city,
that's what I figured you were
whatever
gonna say,
cost we would have.
right?
Now, that seems simple when you're removing vehicles or junk. But what about people that, don't fix their house or their garage? I mean,
That can be pretty expensive.
yeah. Do we hire a contractor to go fix it and bill them?
I was gonna
Or-
say, good luck with that.
Or do we tear it down? I have condemned some houses, and, cause they're just not worth fixing. And one is borderline that we're working on right now,
Okay,
over at, I won't mention any names, but 110 Second Avenue West. I just looked at it again tonight. The roof and overhang on that is rotting and starting to fall off. I'm sure that there's water getting into that house, there has to be. It's in rough shape, really rough shape. And I don't know if he would allow me to do an inspection, to try to assess it. But he has a renter in there right now, of course.
That's my property, by the way, just so everybody knows.
yeah,
That's my house.
Oh.
My rental property back there.
Okay,
It's kind of a goofy deal with the family. We have a family, it's not even actually, the house is not in my name, it's actually in the estate's name. So that's why we've had issues with trying to communicate. I told them, I said, either you need to fix it up or help. So we need to decide, I can't afford to fix it up. So this would be a good example as to what we can do to,
is it worth fixing? I didn't think so. And that's usually the case, yeah.
and the guy is living there for free. So it's a situation where do we kick him out and then he becomes, where's he gonna live? Because he can't afford to live anywhere else.
But is it safe for him to live there? Health-wise?
That's debatable.
Yeah. So in his best interest, he should probably move to somewhere more healthy, because I'm sure it's not very
And
healthy
again, it
environment.
becomes finances, what can he afford, he doesn't pay any rent.
Right.
And I don't think he can
Is he
afford
on
to.
social security or something?
He might he's my age.
What's that?
Oh, he's probably around 60.
Mid-aged.
62.
Oh, okay, so he may not be getting Social Security.
So, yeah, that's been a kind of a struggle with communications, trying to decide what we're gonna do. I know where you're coming from,
Yeah.
and I've been ignoring you for all practical purposes, like, I don't really know what to do because of the situation. I have no idea. Because eventually, what happened is that my wife's mother used to live there. And when she passed away, then he lives there now. The place is, I don't know what to do with it, to be honest. I can't afford to do anything with it. So it's gonna be in your hands to decide what you're gonna force upon me.
Well, like
And
I
I'm
was,
just an example of maybe other examples around the city as well, I'm just willing to come out
yeah,
and say that.
that's what I was beginning to explain to the council, is that, you know, we should really assess, try to do an inspection and assess whether or not that home is even worth saving, or if it's an unhealthy environment for the tenant, and we may have to evict them.
Right.
If it's getting a lot of water damage and black mold and everything else in there, that's,
Yeah.
we all know that's not a good
Right.
situation.
Nope, I agree. Yeah.
But when you don't have nowhere to live, you know what? But yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to think on that one, Mike, and
Yeah.
we'll have to discuss that.
Probably have to visit with our city attorney about that.
Yeah.
I
That-
mean, I don't know what rights he has, that tenant. He's not paying any rent. He's kind of a squatter. I don't know.
Yep, you still gotta go through the eviction process though, cause he's established residency, so you gotta give him yep. And now, the state legislature has, in the past year, made it simpler to evict people, so you don't have to give the notice to quit anymore.
Oh.
Actually, you can just go straight to the summons and complaint, you just serve them and sue them. So it's a shorter time frame to
Yeah.
evict.
That's probably the only home in that kind of condition in Groton, I would say. Everybody else seems to be doing something
Right.
with their property. Some of these that we extended into this year, they're working on it. So that's good to see.
There was one other one that we briefly touched on as well in another meeting with regards, I think it was the last meeting, with regards to having a mortgage on their home, potentially, so they couldn't complete the tear down of it. And, you know, part of it, I believe, from looking at what the assessment, the property's worth more than without the house on it. But, you know, I'm not the one that has the mortgage against it, so it'd be ultimately, I think, the bank's decision to determine if the house has enough value for the home. But I think that would probably be another one that we can look at.
Is that home on this list?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one I talked to the city attorney.
107 North First.
Was that the one just over here?
Oh, yeah. You know, he's been calling me, at least he did at the beginning. And, he wanted to cooperate, but, the second time he got in contact with me, he said the bank won't allow him to tear it down. He said it's not worth fixing, and he said I won't put a dime in it, because it's not worth fixing. But the bank won't let me tear it down, because I have a mortgage against it. Well, I asked Drew Johnson to contact the bank, but he never did get back to me.
So I looked at other residential mortgages with Dakota Bank, and all the ones that I have in my office this do have provisions that you cannot destroy any structures on the property, that would be a default on the mortgage. So I haven't reviewed this specific mortgage, but I would assume that that would be
Same thing.
standard. That you can't just take out a mortgage and then light a match to the place. So you can't destroy the property.
Yeah.
So the homeowner is likely correct that he's prohibited from demoing those buildings. So he would have to go back to Dakota Bank and get approval for them to say, which maybe he could do. If he could go tell Dakota Bank that says, hey, I'm making my payments, I'm actually improving the property, and get Dakota Bank to sign off and say, yes, we will agree. But that would be the next step on it, right?
Yeah.
Is to get the homeowner to go to Dakota Bank and get Dakota Bank to give the green light on getting rid of the structure on the property.
He has been doing a lot of cleanup there.
Yeah, yeah,
He really has. He got rid of that shed
no,
and he got rid of a lot of
no,
overgrown.
he done a
trees.
lot,
Yeah, he has.
yes,
So
yep.
I could talk to him again and see if he would, and I'd go with him. I mean,
Cause yeah, that property's probably worth
Want me to
more
go?
money with the building gone than it is with
know,
the building
yeah.
there.
So often is that the case
Yeah,
with some of these properties.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, that might be a good thing for him too, because especially since the bank's not, there's no foreclosure action on that property when I looked it up a couple weeks ago. So he's presumably paying his mortgage.
Yeah.
So banks usually don't care as long as you're paying your mortgage, and I think the mortgage balance on that one, or at least initial mortgage filing that I saw was relatively small
Oh,
of a mortgage filing, so I would assume it'd be hundreds of dollars a month.
but we have one, out here on the east side of Railroad Avenue, that involves some junk vehicles.
Which page is that?
602.
Joe Purchase place?
Mhm.
Third one,
Joe.
third one down top page, front page.
Joe Furch.
The fourth one down, excuse me.
Oh, railroad, Joe. Yeah.
And from what I'm told, he doesn't have a auto repair shop there,
No,
so he shouldn't have those junk vehicles there. And so I'm ready to abate them. I would send a tow truck over there and just haul them away. I'd have the police with me.
Has
The
he,
city's okay with that.
what's that?
I wasn't sure if Joe still owned that, if it was being foreclosed upon.
Oh,
I
He
think
didn't
it
come up
is.
with that.
have you talked with Joe?
No, he's never called me, and I've sent him 2 letters asking him to call me.
So what it's the vehicles, and when you say junk, what's that entail?
What,
Vehicles there at Joe's, and what else?
that's the main eyesore.
Okay, because I do see he does have stuff for his
Yeah.
work, which is cement and some of that.
I think the people were complaining about there's a couple older vehicles that are just sitting there. It's not any of the work vehicles.
Yep.
So I think there's some older vehicles
I will,
just sitting there.
and I will
Yeah.
mention with that specific property, on, I would say a quarterly basis, I receive an anonymous complaint letter regarding, the appearance of that property.
I think you shared a couple of them here.
Yeah, they're the same thing, they come from the same, presumably the same people, given the handwriting, but it's always been anonymous, but it's consistent that they attack that property for its appearance, for junk vehicles.
So what I would do, he would receive a final letter, and the letter would say, on this date, I am going to abate that junk. I'm gonna have a tow truck, and we're gonna remove them vehicles, and it will be at your expense.
How many are there, Mike? 2, 3? I can't quite remember.
At least 2, for
Okay.
sure. And they're really old vehicles. might have some value, very true. But they obviously are not operable, and he's certainly not gonna license them,
Yep.
so.
What would happen if he licensed them?
They have to be operable,
Oh, they do,
they do,
okay,
yep,
okay. Just because that, I need to know that.
yeah, yep. And so typically, just like if anyone else's vehicle gets towed, the towing company, they give you like 30 days, either come and get it,
Or it's
pay the
theirs.
towing fee, or I'm gonna file for a junk title,
Yep,
and they'll own it.
yep.
So, I'm prepared to do that.
How do you guys feel, council?
Well, if we give one person exception, Tom, we gotta give everybody else, and that's kinda not what we,
It-
kinda not what we do. It's, that we can't pull favors to anybody, it's just that if they're out of compliance, they're out of compliance, and Mike's done a fantastic job of cleaning up the town, so I applaud him for that. But, yeah, that's what you wanna do, that's, I mean. I
I'm
think-
sure this last letter will get his attention, I really do. That's usually what it takes, you know, and then they finally call. So, if there's no objections, I'm gonna move forward on that.
So, hold on, before we go to the next phase. So the one directly below, it has the final letter sent to owner. Advising correct and violation or
Yep.
price abatement.
I'm gonna do the same thing with him.
Okay, so one's a warning and the final letter, is there a difference in that
What?
notice?
The
He said it's a
wording
final
is
A
warning.
final
different.
warning and a final letter.
It's a
There's-
letter that I send saying I'm scheduling an abatement. It's gonna take place on this date, which usually is 2 or 3 weeks away. So they have time before the tow truck comes over.
So on 4/23, you sent a final letter to one, and then you sent a final warning sent to another. And if it's
Yeah.
2 weeks after,
He,
we're 2.5 months after.
I actually sent him a letter last year
This
that
one.
I was gonna abate the vehicle, because I had
Yes,
no
it's a
response from
two-month
him. Well, when he got that
Who's this
letter,
one
then he
you're
called
talking
me,
about,
and said,
this
"Mike,
one now?
I have a plan.
Oh,
I'm gonna get it off my property."
407?
He even mentioned that he had talked to the mayor, and the mayor was gonna come over there and lift this piece of equipment onto that truck. I don't know. I was gonna talk to you about it, but
Okay,
it's probably new to you.
who, for Joe, or who?
No,
the one
407 Washington.
Is that Sean Person's house?
Oh, that must be, I don't know where that is.
Sean
I'm-
Person? I
Look
think.
at your
Yeah.
paper and see who the last name is.
I
You
don't know who
it
that
is?
is, no.
Well, I guess he didn't talk to you.
Do you know where,
Well, somebody talked to me over west of town where there was something over there, it's been a while,
Oh, okay.
you know, I don't, where's this property at? Mike,
407,
I don't know my address.
well, it's,
Here, I'll check.
Mayor, do you know where Lisa Adler lives?
Yeah,
Right next north.
right to the north,
To the north.
that's what I figured you were gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah, I know
I'll
that,
give you
well, I
landmarks.
thought he moved, what is it, a
It-
truck body or?
he's got a truck there with the back end has been removed, but he's got this, I don't know what the heck it is really.
I was
And he wants
supposed,
to mount that on that truck.
I see,
And he
yep,
doesn't wanna license it until he has it mounted, so that he can weigh it
yep.
and, you know, get a.
We had
license.
talked about that, but that's been like 2 years ago,
Okay,
maybe 3, it's been a while because, yeah,
and that's the only reason I extended it for him, is because he contacted me and he said he had a plan. Well, I've given him more than enough time. So,
Yeah, the reason why I asked is I just wanna ensure that we have consistency.
yeah, and
across.
if gentleman on Railroad Avenue calls me after he gets that letter.
Well, speak louder. I just wanna ensure that we have consistency.
I said it's
If the
good.
gentleman on Railroad Avenue calls me after he gets his letter, and he has a reasonable plan, I will give him more time. But he has to do it.
You need communication.
Now,
Yeah.
what, Mike,
Yeah.
what do you do with the one like below the Pearson one where, what do you do when you can't get in contact with anybody?
I just haven't been able to get a hold of him, and that seems like a simple deal. I don't know if you've been over there.
I've seen it.
Is it an old outhouse?
It's a good question. You've seen it more, been around longer than me. It's just an
I
old
don't know.
Just an
building.
old building, just an old.
Just an old
It's
building.
just very small.
Yeah.
I
He
find
just
it
put
hard
on-
that nobody will call you back.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I'm hoping I can catch somebody there at the shop sometime.
Usually they're there a lot of times in the evenings.
That's what I was just gonna say.
We'll
usually
get
they're in the
that
evening time.
resolved.
T-
But what was I gonna ask? Oh. Mr. Locken, if a certified letter comes back, and this is an out-of-town owner, in fact, they live in another county. I don't see in our ordinance where it says that you can post the property for legal service.
I can,
That's kind of a standard with, the International Property Maintenance Code, that if people refuse service on a letter, you know, you can post the property, and that's considered legal service. So I want your opinion, if you think I can post it, and that would stand as legal service.
sure, I'll get back to you on that, Mike.
Okay. You have my card, Chad?
No, let's,
There.
there we go.
You too?
You have another one? Or is that your last
Yeah.
one? I'd like it.
And we all know the property we're referring to. I had that all cleaned up last year, over here on the corner.
and I see a pickups there.
Yeah, and she would not pick up that letter. She called me last year, I don't know how many times, before we finally got that all cleaned up. And then they drug in another one.
Yep, I see that.
That's about right.
I don't know, you folks might know that 603 North Third, that's on the first page towards the bottom. Of course, they called, they had no money, they didn't know when, they're siding the house now. They are getting new siding. So, that was good to see.
Is that over by the park, that is, right?
Yes,
He was just in the planning and zoning
yes.
meeting.
Yep.
Yeah. I was happy to see that. 103 East Second, I've talked to him several times. He needs to go in and apply for free money to Happy Homes. 'Cause I don't know if you know his financial situation, but he told me that he couldn't afford it. Well, if he meets income guidelines, Happy Homes will put a new roof on there. If he lives there for 5 years, he never has to pay it back.
No.
It's a good
Do you
deal.
know this guy, Doug? Who he's talking about?
It's,
Is
don't.
this fellow aware of that, Mike, what you just told us about Happy Homes? The fellow that needs to do his roof? Is he, or who, what you were just talking about?
Yeah,
Does that fellow realize he can get some assistance?
I don't know if he does or not.
And I was just gonna say to Doug, maybe you need to
He asked for this year.
call
And I
him
see
and
nothing has happened.
at least tell him there is assistance for this. Which one was that, Mike?
Rick Miller,
Yeah.
103 East Second.
Hey, Mike, would that be applicable also for that property I have?
You have to live
here.
there,
Yeah, he lives here,
I
and
know.
it's in your estate name.
but he doesn't own it.
Mayor, that's just
It
one
has to
house,
be
one
owner
right to the west of
occupied.
Holt, blocks up on that corner
It has
there.
to be owner occupied.
So if he owned it,
Yeah, you give me some names and I can figure out where
I'll
I'm
give you
at.
landmarks.
There you go.
I know you.
I know. It's like, yeah. Okay, yeah, 'cause I think he has a hole in the roof, don't he?
Yeah, blue tarp cover, or used to have blue tarp
Or
cover.
used
Rick Miller?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
A tree must have fell on that.
It
house.
did,
4 years
it
ago.
did a few years ago. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
If people ask for that assistance, I usually mail them the information on Happy Homes. It shows them the income guidelines and what they have to meet, and all we gotta do is make a phone call and get an appointment.
Yep. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, if you could touch base with them and just,
Yeah, I can see if I can get a hold of him.
you know, drop them something in the mail or whatever.
But like I said, they have to own the property and they have to live there.
Does he own the property?
So
That's,
property is
that's
that
an,
the
it's similar to
house
that, it's
or the
a
land
state
or both?
issue.
I didn't,
I would say both.
see, I own the land, they would own the house.
I think it has to be both, I think. That question has never come up. I'd have to ask Happy Homes and see what they say.
Honestly, that'd be pretty muddied up, they wouldn't wanna do that.
I
They'd
don't
say
think
try to
any
be-
bank's gonna loan on anything that's not both,
Owned
that
by
own. Because if they
homeowner.
build a home on somebody else's property and then the property owner says, I don't want this home on my property, and they've got a mortgage on it, that's not gonna fly.
I did, I was just
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good question.
It's a good question.
How to work
Yeah.
with him to get something done so he can stay there.
Thing with the mobile home is they're mobile. They can hook up and move that. And then Happy is not protected anymore, right? You know, that's what I'm thinking.
Honestly, mobile homes probably don't even qualify under it.
Questions on any other ones?
Looks like there aren't too many, you got a lot in compliance.
The tree is gone.
Yeah.
The Dutch elm,
What's that?
we had a Dutch elm tree.
Number
On the
one on
first
the
one.
list,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah,
happened
it's
pretty
gone.
quick.
so that one's
I
done.
saw that tonight, so.
Okay.
Keith chopped that down, I think. So that was done pretty fast.
And supposedly, there's gonna be a new owner there later this year.
Any other things, council?
I'm just glad my name's not on here, cause
Huh?
it was. I feel like the city council has more on this list than anybody else. I said my name was on here like twice last year, so hoo-ha.
We weren't gonna mention that though, but
No,
I'm
I'm
glad
not.
you brought
Listen,
that to our
No, that's
attention.
fine. I was on there twice last year and I fixed it.
Yeah. One of the things I do wanna add is with this list, and it's done a great job for the community, is with some of the things that we're doing with the Growth and Development Corporation, we're trying to assist homeowners in things as well. So when we started the first annual cleanup,
Yeah,
we're gonna do that a recurring basis and have northern students, come back if we can
Mhm.
continue to apply for that. But we put it out there on, like, we did one of the individuals on this, on the list, we cleaned up their property. So I think collectively as an area and organizations, it'll definitely help spruce up the community.
What's the other organization that offers to paint?
Um,
Hey, South Dakota,
No,
the
it's,
name.
Habitat for Humanity.
Through the Habitat for
Yeah,
Humanity.
that's what it is. Habitat for Humanity sometimes
Yeah.
does that too, if you send in your whatever request to have your home painted, sometimes they can do that, but you normally have to have a organization that volunteers to paint. They provide, I think, the paint, but, or the supply.
Organization or at least a group of volunteers to paint.
Right, okay.
I had a bunch of high school students, paint a house for me in Aberdeen. But it was a single-story house,
Mhm.
you know, we didn't have to use ladders.
Right.
When you get a 2 or 3-story house, it's a little risky.
Right.
For volunteers.
Right.
Mhm.
Mike, what do you do with that one where you've been trying to get in contact with them? I mean, what do you, how's that
I'll
play out?
find them there.
Okay, well, I'm just asking
Yeah.
because it's like, you know,
Or, you know.
just
if-
like that other
I can mail it.
place.
Okay, but I
yeah.
thought it would be so simple just to talk to them,
Yep,
it might be easy to resolve,
right.
but if nothing else, they'll get a letter.
Didn't
Yep.
you say you sent it certified mail to them?
Uh,
You sent that one certified mail?
We
You're-
have to send them certified.
Are
I
we,
don't think you
are
did.
we talking about, 12 North Fourth Street?
That's what I thought he was right there.
Did you
Where?
send that one certified mail?
Where?
12 North First Street?
Improvement shed.
Uh-uh.
No,
Fourth
I haven't
Street.
sent that yet.
Oh, okay,
I was just gonna talk to them,
gotcha.
yeah.
They're there a lot later in the afternoon or probably in the evenings more than likely. That's when you're gonna catch them because they're out blading and mowing ditches and.
Every time I go by on Highway 12, I try to swing by there, just to see.
You might catch them tonight there, over their meeting.
Yeah, cause usually that's when they pull in, is about 8:30, 9.
Oh,
A road grader will be sitting there,
sure,
so.
Sure, figure.
I'll try it again tonight.
She's ready to approve it.
Anything else, council?
No
You
more.
guys good?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, Mike, for doing everything you do. We appreciate it. And,
You're welcome, Mayor.
yep,
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Can we skip?
Item 5,
Can we,
what?
can we skip the long ones and go to these girls over here so they can get out of here? Yeah. We-
Did you put that on the, approval of the agenda?
Oh, can we not?
I don't know.
You're fine.
Can we skip to 8
Sure.
and then come back? We need to let them go. They don't wanna listen to all this stuff.
Well, I asked the boss.
I didn't think it would take
He-
this long.
he-
I'm
He
sorry.
told me, it's gonna be quick.
I thought so,
You're
man.
gonna take a half hour.
I know, you know, and
All
the
right.
first thing took
We
that.
skip
We're
down to
gonna,
eight.
we're gonna jump down to,
9.
item 9 here, special event liquor license for the celebration in the park. That must be the barbecue, right?
Yeah, that's the rib cookout.
Okay,
That's,
you have the floor,
All
so
right.
go ahead.
it's August 2nd. We're requesting that, the special event liquor license, with the open container, you know, so we can have the open container there. The American Legion will be doing a beer tent. Ben Smith talked to Chief Stacy, and his requirement this year is what he wants is one licensed officer on site the hours of the beer tent. So we're looking at about from 2 to 8, maybe 8:30. We're moving up to karaoke. It's only gonna be from, it's not gonna go till 9:30 this year. It's gonna go from 6 until 9. So the cornhole tournament is gonna, registration at 1. We'll start at 2. The kids area will go from 1 to 4:30, and that will be roped off again. I do have, do you guys want the map? I don't.
Like last year's?
Yeah, it's gonna be exactly like last year, the same setup.
So what, he wants one other or one officer there?
Just one officer. Last year it was 2 officers during the karaoke. Now he's saying 1 officer the entire time of the year.
Okay, chief's saying that.
She's saying that.
Okay.
Here's my take on that. Chief's not here to back that up. I think, I don't have a problem doing it, just like we did last year, 2 officers. I know it's a nice family event, but I I just think we need 2 officers there just because if something happens,
You-
we get back.
For
to
the
one.
entire beer tent then?
That's what we had last year, so
No, we only had it just during the karaoke last year.
when you were serving beer, you had 2 officers in. Last year you did.
Did you pay for them?
No comment.
Somebody paid for them,
No comment.
okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think there was 2, and
We
I
had two-
heard
we had
that,
2 officers there last year.
I thought, who did I talk to? I thought, we should talk to Chief,
Yeah,
cause
but
I
Yeah,
thought
they-
Chief
they
said
only came- they
we
only
should
came
keep
during
it the
the
way
year.
we had it last year.
No, I mean only during the karaoke. It wasn't all day, otherwise those guys would have been even more bored.
It was just, I thought when they started serving beer is when the 2
No,
officers.
we started serving beer at 1.
No. I think so.
Yeah, so that's when the cornhole tournament was supposed to start. That's when they were all set up and started.
Well, I was told too, I think by Chief, to keep it the way it was last year. So I should
Well-
talk to him. Well, I need to
And you
talk
can
to him.
yeah,
Yep, I
yeah.
need to
No,
talk
that's
to him.
fine. Ben Smith told me he talked to him, and that's what.
I did visit with Kevin a little bit on the situation. He's not here to vote on or anything like either, but he was in favor of doing it just like last year.
Yeah.
So, wanna serve beer? I could've swore the jungle was brand new at that time,
Yes, they were.
and I think the officers there were for 5 hours each, and I thought that was just for when they were serving beer. I'd have to confirm.
What time did that end last year?
Yeah.
9 o'clock, I think. It was still daylight when it stopped. 8:30, 9 o'clock.
So-
Yeah, last year it went until, the karaoke went till 9:30 and the beer went till 9. That could have been.
I think it was,
Or
I
nine.
think you're right, I think it was 49. I don't think it was for the full afternoon, but.
Yeah, cause the beer tent started sooner, so.
Yep, I'm pretty sure they were there for 5 hours, the 2
Okay.
off-duty.
Well, we can,
Officers.
I mean, and we will, whatever chief wants, we will, get it.
Okay, I guess I'm fine with giving you guys, that, approval, with, how do you wanna say it, with the,
Stipulation?
with,
Two officers.
Chief giving the okay on how many people, how many police officers, or what he wants for
Yeah.
sure, cause I'm hearing what you say, and I heard a little different, so we need, whatever Chief recommends is what we'll
That's
go with.
what Ben texted me, that he wants more.
Yeah, but that's,
No,
I would have to get it from the chief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's fine, I'm
That's-
just saying.
No, this is a situation.
so I guess with the,
I'm just gonna say that the
approval,
officers
with the
were
condition
extremely
of what
organized.
Chief has to say with,
Okay,
police,
and part of the reason Chief last year wanted to is because there was only 2 people in town. All 4 officers will be in town that weekend. So I was gonna approach Tommy, cause Ben's actually on duty that.
and who knows, maybe some of our officers, if they get off duty,
Yes,
if they wanna make a few extra bucks,
Yeah, cause
are around.
all 4 officers are in town that weekend with 2 of them working that day, so I was gonna
Okay.
approach the other 2.
Okay.
Do
Well,
we have the same application process?
Yeah, what are they selling?
It's just the malt, like beer and seltzer, nothing, all in cans.
Similar to the item directly above it.
what's that, Mike?
So the application process that we went over with the
Yes.
special liquor license out at the baseball field.
That's correct.
Yep.
That's what they did last year.
This one they'll actually have someone serving, whereas the other one's above, it's a
bring it-
BYOB.
Bring it in.
Yep.
And I'd rather not have it bring your own, cause it's gonna happen at the celebration if alcohol's not provided, people bring their own. So, that's the problem, and we can't police it, cause they will have, the Legion already has the wristbands and everything for it.
And you said the Legion's gonna put the alcohol on, or the,
Yes, yes. So Doug, do you need like insurance stuff?
who's
like
gonna
that?
pay for the police officers?
The
Well,
Legion
we'll-
should be,
Yeah.
whoever's selling beer,
Okay,
Yeah.
whoever wants to
Yeah.
pay for them.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would, yes,
I was
We'll
just
get
yes
that
to
taken
that
care of.
question
Yeah,
as well.
for the insurance,
Okay,
Proof of liability insurance.
yeah.
yeah. Mike?
Oh, wait a
you.
reading. Just because, 3 meetings ago, we had the conversation about the different zones in town and so forth.
Right, but
Just wondering,
Groton didn't have a,
we didn't have a posted.
we didn't have a
location.
posted no alcohol zone, so that wouldn't be an issue. It can't exceed 24 hours, we don't have that issue.
Right.
Yeah, it can issue, the city can issue the event, it just can't exceed 24 hours and it can't exceed the, normal state laws of 2 AM, so.
Which would be pretty much the same application that we went through the last
Cool.
time with the baseball.
Baseball.
Correct, I can't specifically remember that application, but it's.
Yeah.
I think the
I
issues
don't
we
have
have
it.
now is that they're all on one, so I have them separate. They're above this one, they're separated out, separated out this time.
No, here you go.
Oh. Yeah, so it's special event alcohol beverage license application. So I think that's something we should ensure is done.
Should what?
So when you look at the next information in your packet there about the special events alcohol beverage license application, we should have that in place.
We do these for each event, don't we? Don't we do like sip and shop and stuff, don't they fill out all that? So each time we do these special events, do they fill one of these out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes,
essentially.
yes,
I've never had them not.
right. Is
Yeah,
that
there's
your,
that one,
what
yeah,
you're saying?
and then-
Yes, I think we've
Yeah,
done that.
Yeah, that is filled out.
Okay.
I think
yeah,
we've
we have
always
one.
had that done.
Should have one for the American Legion.
Alright.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't yours filled out, Mike?
Well, I looked at 8 before 9. I do have it, okay.
Now I'm not confused either, we're good.
Yeah.
I was just like,
I didn't make it that far.
Mike,
But
you see, you don't let that slip by you.
I'm with Brian on that, you know, I think we could go forward with potentially passing it contingent on the,
That's the word I was looking for.
contingent on the chief's, approval or recommendations.
Right. 1 or 2 police officers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just for verification. I was confusing myself.
Okay, that will be the motion. We need a motion. Karen made the first motion. Is he, Jason?
Jason, you there?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
He's been really
Just making sure.
quiet. Who-
Make
who-
the second
who
motion, please.
seconded it?
I think Jason did.
Jason, do you second it?
I did.
Okay.
Jason seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed, nay. Motion's carried. I'll talk to chief and get back to you.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
thank you.
Alright.
See ya.
Thank you.
I don't know who she was. No, that was,
Who? Brenda
Brenda.
Brenda.
McCarthy,
Thank you.
yes.
yeah, that's who it was.
Thank you.
Yep.
Brenda
was-
McCarthy.
Volunteered last year at this event.
Yeah, she helped out. Yeah,
I think she's on the
she worked, she was for the kids.
chamber, but what's the other?
She
one?
lives in
Lions
Jay
Club?
Peterson's old
Oh, could be.
place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get back to item 5, authorization to bid electrical metering system. Sorry about that. Everything went,
Doesn't bother me. I don't think the same. I just wanna sit here. Fine, I don't care.
So do you have some input on this or not, or,
Everybody in this room knows my stance.
okay,
The only thing I'll say about the latest quote that came is they bid all disconnect meters. We don't need 975 disconnect meters.
I think we talked
We
about
cut
that,
that,
we,
cut down the price 75. So we can save another 40 to 45 grand by cutting just normal meters.
how many disconnects you think we need?
I would say we got 40 out there right now. So.
Yeah, I thought we were talking only 20 or so of real need to be able to go disconnect.
Yeah.
We're
I
shutting
don't know
you
the
down.
exact number we have right now. I use 30 for a round figure.
What's that? Okay.
I use 30 for a round figure.
Okay.
So, you
Well, where are, okay,
I don't have any
can.
attachment for it.
You don't, huh?
There's no attachment for it.
There's no attachment for,
No.
you're just gonna we're
We're
gonna
to authorize it to
authorize
bid, and
it.
then him and I will work out the specs.
The three of us,
Yeah, you guys get some bids.
we figure out.
We,
exact-
that, you know, and we'll,
Yep.
cause yeah, we've discussed this so many times
Yep.
here, and
We just need to move on.
I think we just need to pick a date to open bids, and then we'll make it, the three of us will make it work.
Did they
And
find
there's-
anything out about the app?
The app is pretty much up to us. They could supply something, but they suggested a second vendor. So maybe tie it in with our water app, if you can.
And then specs, that was the other thing. Their cut
They
sheets.
will supply the specs if they win the right for us to ask. We choose them.
So that's backwards.
Well, I don't know what specs you're looking for, Mike.
Well, before Kevin mentioned something, about getting the cut sheets.
about
Cut
what?
sheets. Getting the cut sheets, so when it goes out for bid,
When it goes out for bid, whoever, like, Eaton, we wouldn't have to, with Landis and Gear, we have. You try and write the specs, so basically they're gonna win the bid.
usually cut sheets help with that. So a lot of times vendors will provide their cut sheets for their product.
I don't know what I can say in a public meeting, like,
Okay,
how's that?
good.
Okay.
I don't have any further questions.
And like, some of this bid, there's $100,000 of it that's paid over 5 years. It's monthly installments. So it's not like, okay, say the nut figure is 360 something or whatever it is. Well, 107,000 of that is over a 5-year period. Plus, we can cut another 40,000 by going to non-disconnect meters. So, it's not, it won't be all upfront. Some of it's gonna be paid over time. And we can also cut the bottom line by roughly 40,000. From the total bid. And someday, and I know you've decided to stay with the water system you have for reading, but Landis and Gear is working on a cellular system, so you could incorporate them into it someday. So you could go from 2 operating systems to 1. That's another benefit. With that being said, in 15 years, everybody will go, that's antique and this is where we're going now. Cause a lot of, from what I'm hearing, they're gonna go to satellites. That's been mentioned. So, not to rain on the parade or anything like that, but this is what makes our money. This is what's gonna make it easier for the people coming behind me, him, whoever's coming to fill our spots.
right?
This system is super easy to operate. I know 2 places that have it. I worked at one, they love it. I know
Yep.
another guy that runs one, they love it. They're trying argue with me? Yeah, all day.
Easy.
So,
That's okay, there's nothing wrong with,
I like what
Diversity.
Todd was pitching earlier about, you know, when it's ready to hand off, you can hand it off, the other guy can come in and operate it. We don't need just one person just kind of to tear things apart and fix things, it's like.
we're beyond that, yep.
Cause your
This-
time is
what
allocated
you're
better doing
doing-
other things.
Will this alleviate him going door to door and
Yes.
taking meter
Yes.
reading and all that stuff?
Yes.
Is the system that you were trying to propose, does that do that also, or do you still have to read meters with what
Still
you're
get
proposing?
Oh,
coffee
you don't wanna
and
get me started.
cookies.
You wanna get me started? Sorry.
Okay,
I already gave you guys my speech several times already,
I know.
and
Okay, well, then, we need, authorization to give to Doug to, open a bid up for electric metering system.
I'll make a motion for Doug and Todd and whoever needs to work to develop you can,
We gotta pick a date to open the bids,
Okay.
preferably. I just wanted to mention that, you continue, sorry.
How much time do you guys think we should have here?
6 weeks? I mean, it's,
Too
I
much?
think we already have.
do we have the numbers basically ready to go? Or not?
we
Just
have
need a-
numbers ready to go like 2 years ago.
Okay,
So we can just
it's
plug them into the
what,
specs,
June,
bid notice, send it out.
July,
Let's,
July
Mid,
8th.
middle meeting in August,
let's do it in 3 weeks, yeah.
or middle meeting or first meeting in August?
no.
First meeting, middle?
August 19th?
Middle in August?
Okay.
What are you shaking your head for?
So,
Planning on
That gives, that gives a little,
buffer.
little buffer.
Do we have to
You,
get
you
so
gotta
much?
advertise, the advertisement has to be printed twice with the first publication at least 10 days before the opening of bids or the deadline for submission.
So 6 weeks would be good. 5 weeks? Yeah.
Yeah. How often does our local publication
Every week,
Huh?
publish?
every week.
So we're looking at least 17 days.
Cause we'd be shooting for the 15th,
no requirement
Or
based on
not 15.
estimated cost.
16th, so, no, 19th.
This
Jeez,
is
look at the
anything-
wrong month.
This is anything over a hundred
August,
thousand.
Tuesday,
I
August
was looking
19th.
here in the air, not in the middle. Yeah. That'd be
Is
good.
that during Brown
Would
County
that
Fair? I could care less
Leave us
about
enough
theater.
time for 2 notifications in the paper, Doug?
Actually, thank you, it would be during the fair, I think, right?
Most of us are generally here on the meetings, I don't during fair week.
I think so, I don't think we're in,
Might not
I
be
don't
a
think we have an
good,
issue during the fair.
is that when the fair is?
I think that is that week, it's toss up, I think we'd have a council.
I think
The
we
only
have-
thing that's Tuesday night is the rodeo, I think, cause the fair, like the rest of it doesn't really get kicked off until
Midweek.
Wednesday, Thursday,
I would
Friday.
go,
I say we roll
I
it
got
out. Let's
tickets
get her
to
done.
the rodeo,
Oh, you
Let's
do,
get this done.
I do,
Monday or Tuesday?
that's a good question.
Looks like you're going to the Monday one.
Yes, sir. Better swap your Tuesday for a Monday.
Well, he'll go to the Tuesday one too.
What would you guys wanna do? I
Let's
don't,
just keep it Tuesday.
Huh?
Let's roll with it.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay,
August 19th.
You can call in.
August,
I
Brown
got-
County Fair is August 11th through the 17th.
Oh,
so
heck
it
yeah.
doesn't even go
Oh.
August 19th.
I got a question, since we're opening bids, why don't we do it like, 2 o'clock in some afternoon? Have a bid opening process, and then we can submit that information to the council meeting, like, other entities do that. So instead of having it all at the meeting, you can have the bid opening at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever day it is, and then go through the bid opening process, you got everything right there, and then
Who all
present
needs
to
to
the
be here
council.
for bid opening then in the middle of the afternoon? Who all needs to be here for bid opening?
I just think,
What's the
I could
legality
just
of
by
it?
the finance office.
well,
and
okay, what
everything,
date, what date are we talking now, the
You can make it
19th?
any day.
Or when's the bid, I didn't know if we wanted to have that the same
You don't
day.
need the whole council there for the
Right.
bid opening, you only need the council there to approve.
Correct,
So So once you got everything all done, here it is to the council.
But sometimes it's nice to have that information and then later,
Let's just have the bid opening at the meeting.
instead of lose, what's that?
Let's just have the bid opening in the meetings, I think.
We can. It'll take a little longer, but that would simplify it, cause we all do have sometimes a hard time.
So with regards to like open bid openings that I have to do, I have to have a warranty contracting officer, the project manager, and, one more individual there to certify the bids. Or that's what I have to do, but ours are much bigger. I know the state laws may not have to,
There's nothing required that I
to
see.
make it a responsive bid.
You could
Okay.
open them early if you want.
Let's just do it right then and there.
Just
That
open next
night,
meeting.
we open the city, what we're gonna shoot for August 19th then.
Which works perfect, cause it's not Fair Week.
Yep,
Great.
yep.
I will second that.
Who did the first? Mike? Mike made the first
Yeah,
motion.
my first motion is for them
And-
to develop the schedules and the
Yep.
specs for solicitation notice.
And,
everything.
and,
And then we'll have the bid opening at the council meeting
August
on
19th.
August 19th.
And Brian seconded it. Cause the fair is the week before. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll, you guys could get the bids out there, and get some,
One thing I wanna say about that, and I don't know if this ties into what you were trying to say, but when we got stuff from your people and then stuff from your people, they weren't apples and apples. There were things that were imbalanced and it made it hard to differentiate cost. You know what I mean? Like, some of them had add-ons of this, some of them had a different add-on of something else over here. What they added on wasn't added on to here, so it didn't really like
add on.
lay across each other with exact amounts for what it was they were doing. So it was hard to differentiate what was the better value. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's how they do it sometimes. I've seen
It's hard to
companies
figure
do
that out when you're trying to come up with what's the best value and what's the best bang for your buck when we're not seeing it side by side, exact comparison of what's what, because somebody had paper and pen, somebody had paper and pen and bottle, somebody had paper, pen and this, but this one doesn't make the pen, this one only makes the pencil, and this, I'm like, you don't know what's what.
that's part of the evaluation process, of what's the best value to the government.
So when you're
So how do you do
talking
that,
about
Mike?
like specs or whatever, is that what that is? Where they lay it out side by
So
side
having the
exactly
specs
what
and
it
then
is?
have,
Pretty
a lot
much
of
you gotta
times,
make that call,
you
because
could
they're
do-
gonna want,
yeah.
companies are gonna wanna manipulate it where their price looks the best by wording things.
and if it's
Just like when we went for
proprietary versus
loaders.
not
This one had
proprietary,
this, but this one didn't, this one had
Makes
this,
it a little
this one
confusing
didn't.
when you're trying to make a decision.
And it really makes it hard, yeah.
But it-
It's,
During the meeting that we talked about the last bidding, what I recall from South Dakota's law was that we just have to have the justification for what's the best value based on South Dakota state law.
And thankfully providing the bid specs as we will, I mean, yeah, they might have some caveats here and there, but it should alleviate them both down to about a somewhat level playing field.
Federal law's a little different.
The formal
Okay.
bidding process will help out in that.
well, if you guys could get something going, we'd sure appreciate it, and we'll open them on August 19th.
Well, we need to get them so we can publish them.
Yeah, we gotta get
Mhm.
2 publications out
Yep.
first, yep.
Yep.
We're gonna do that to have the 10-day notice?
Should be able to do that,
Yeah,
shouldn't ya?
we should be able to plug something away, plug something out by at
We should
least
have the specs out there, huh?
the I mean, we'll have it published in the week of the 15th, next week,
Find out.
I would assume. worst case scenario, plug it in the next week and we'd still be within guidelines, correct, Chad?
Yeah, actually, you could publish.
So we're, okay, if we want 900.
When's the Groton Independent publish? What day of the week?
We'll figure it out.
Wednesday?
Wednesday mornings.
So you'd have to publish at the latest date,
Let's go Wednesday.
have it published on August 6th.
Okay.
And then the second publication could be in either the Groton Daily Independent or any other publication. So theoretically, you could publish it in the Aberdeen Insider
Gotcha.
the next
Social
week.
media count as a publication?
No, it's gotta be a newspaper.
How can we do it with the second one? Just,
We usually.
Well, you'd be within the time frame anyway, because you could do the 6th and the 13th of August. And we're gonna be well within that time period anyway, right?
Right.
Yeah, I would think so. If it doesn't have to publish till the 6th.
We have more than enough time to.
But, yeah,
We'll
And-
plug it.
I
And
wouldn't.
if we publish early, that's okay.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd
I
go
would encourage you guys
early.
to not-
Go
to not
early,
push the
don't
deadline.
wait.
Yes.
Yep.
Opening is what date?
19.
Oh, yeah, so we got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 publications
I was gonna say,
before then.
I'd get on it real
Yeah.
quick, okay?
Yeah, we'll figure out the exact numbers we want. And get them.
Start
We should-
typing away?
I would think by, even if we don't make next Wednesday's edition, we'll make the one after that. Shouldn't be.
Okay,
It should be around tomorrow if we meet or something. I don't think I'm leaving town Friday now.
Well, should just take some phone calls and we have to decide, what we want on the shelf.
Yeah. More than one.
You could always have, like the numbers, you could always have another option.
With
line item.
this, the pricing is good till December of 2026 on any extra meter. So if you buy 10 extras and it's 6 months, oh, 20 more on the shelf. The price is good on the meters till December of
That's a
26.
good thing.
Good, okay.
okay,
Thank you.
yep, thank you,
Have a good night.
appreciate it. Thanks for keeping the lights on.
Do my best.
Okay. Item 6, authorization to surplus 1982 International S1900 truck and establish bid opening date.
That would be the blue dump truck that we are replacing with the last one replacing the fleet. I had that one appraised by just not an actual appraiser, just the local property owner, 3 real property owners, and that one appraised at $5,000. We'd just open it up to sealed bids though.
That don't sound bad.
Wait till you hear the next one.
You guys good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay, we need a motion for that. How do you wanna,
We're gonna establish a bid opening and they're changing tires.
Yeah.
what's
Just,
They're
Uh,
changing tires.
yeah, you
on it.
just-
They don't, you just mentioned it tonight that they haven't changed the tires. I don't know when the tires are gonna change, but if we,
No, I'd say approve the surplus of said truck and with the bid opening date of, I have actually, of August 5th.
I think they're doing that now
August.
already.
the what?
They're doing that now.
Yeah, I just don't know when it will get done.
Okay, I'll make a motion doing surplus.
August
that
5th
truck.
or 6th?
It would be August 5th. Yes, August 5th.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at May.
Hey, don't worry, I did the same thing earlier.
Yeah, August 5th, okay, let's go with that.
I made the first motion.
Karen made the first motion,
I'll make the second.
made the second motion, all in favor, say aye.
Right.
All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. We need to establish a bid opening date for the 2017 Ford Interceptor SUV. Should we just go
Same
for
date.
the same date?
Yep, let's do the same thing.
Let's
And
do the
this-
same date, and what was that valued at?
$950.
We'll value that.
Okay,
The three shop guys,
Okay.
real property owners.
Oh, wow. Okay.
need a motion on that?
I'll make the first motion.
Brian made the first motion. Jason?
I'll second it.
Jason seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Item 8, approval of special event liquor license for the Groton Amateur Baseball on July 15th and July 20th, 2025. It should be in front of you guys.
There are two separate applications as per how it should be. And I specified the time on here as well. I don't have an end time because baseball can vary, I suppose, and I really don't know how long they go. I don't know anything about baseball, so.
I've had no problems out there with them guys doing it.
No, we've never had no problems, so I'm okay with that. We need a motion to approve it on the listed dates.
I'll make the motion to approve as requested.
Mike made the first motion.
I'll second that.
Brian seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Looks like we're on item 11, transfer of property at 105 North Third Street to Groton Development Corporation. Mike, do you wanna touch on that?
I do. So previously, before I was on council, I brought it up, to start the discussions of potentially transferring that property to the Groton Development Corporation for an activity center. What I'm looking for today, and I'm gonna abstain from the vote, is a commitment from the council to,
Well, the vote.
You
You
can't
can't
vote
vote.
anyway. We don't have enough people, cause you're number 4,
I'm
we have to
abstaining,
have a
it's just
4.
Karen and I and Jason.
What's that?
If he abstains from voting, you don't have to.
it's 3-3, we got 50%.
We got
1,
4.
2, 3, 4.
But you're
Then
abstaining.
it would be 3. So if you're out, that's 3.
I thought it was 50%.
But it would be, you're 100%.
Would it be
so
50%
this would
and
be-
mayor's a tie-breaking vote?
But no one's voting against it. Nobody's voting against it.
Oh, you're,
Nobody's voting against it.
thank you. There's, yes,
That's how I would.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
That's, I can put it on the next meeting too, but.
you should, it'd be
I can
nice for
elaborate.
everybody to be here, but I wanna hear you out.
Yep.
What do you got?
So, the first aspect was getting the commitment from the city council to transfer the land to the Groton Development Corporation for an activity center. And it was just a commitment with contingency on the Development Corporation obtaining the funding by, next year to transfer it. Not asking for the transfer today, but transfer at a later date. Because if it falls through and we can't get the funding, then obviously we can't utilize the property. And to see
What happens then? Then it goes back to the city or not?
well, it would never be transferred.
You guys would still own it?
No, it would never be transferred.
Oh,
to
it
the
would
Development
never be
Corporation.
transferred.
The
Okay.
ownership would never change, would not change. It's just the
Until you
commitment
guys
to
got the okay or the funding to do it?
Right.
Okay.
Currently, we have about 60,000, and we have an excellent marketer, in which we're phasing out our information. The first phase, and that's held up by me probably, is getting information out that we are a 501c3 status and doing the stakeholder type lists. The next one would be announcing the project. But we don't wanna announce the project until we have a commitment.
Right.
Because if we announce a project where we don't have a commitment, well then you're back at square one. We have the executive summary of the business plan.
Would it be
established.
possible for the council to see what your guys' intentions are?
A
As
business
far,
plan?
huh?
Yeah, I've got
Like a business plan and how's it gonna be funded?
And what's gonna be put up there, you know? I mean, I know we talked about it, but it'd be nice to see it in writing, you know, maybe, and,
There is a written business plan, so.
Yeah, we've got it.
And I have
Okay.
a question just, in reference to that. So let's just say hypothetically, we do transfer the property over to the corporation, and in 5 years, the corporation disbands, and now you've got this, something on the property. What happens to that property if something happens to y'all?
So the way that the 501c3 status is established, and I could have the entire charter, but we have dissolution. So if our organization no longer exists, then there are avenues to either surplus or give the property that the corporation has value of. But I have to have that.
The simple answer, Karen, is let's just put it in the deed, right? That it's transferred to the Groton Development Corporation so long as it is in existence, and then we just have an automatic reversion that the second they disband,
It
we
comes
just
back
come
to the
back,
city.
it just comes back to the city,
And what if they have a building on it? Does that come
then
back
the
to
city
us?
gets it, yep.
Okay,
City gets the property and everything on it.
okay.
That, and then, because if they disband, they have nobody to deed it back to the city.
Right, who makes that money and where does that money go? I mean,
Exactly.
we've given
Right.
them
So we
money,
just put a
where does our
conditional
money go
use
back?
on the deed,
Okay,
and we can do that pretty simple,
okay.
yep.
that sounds the
I
best.
think I would only go for that if we got the property back if something happened to them.
Yep,
If, with their
yep,
organization.
yep, absolutely, that's kinda why I asked that question, or, you know, we're
Yep.
visiting
Yeah.
about it, or you asked it.
And we
but-
can maybe massage that a little bit on how that works. I mean, if it's still an existing 501c3, but it's no longer operating.
Right, if it's
right?
not functioning, then
Like if it's
what?
not functioning, maybe we
Right.
can work with some language on that.
Okay.
That says if they haven't held an annual
Yeah.
meeting in the last 2 years or something.
Right,
And we have the clauses in our current status
right.
that we can utilize too.
Mhm.
But yeah, just trying to get the commitment and to see what's needed, to vote on doing that. So we've got business plan, the executive, summary associated with
At the
it.
next city meeting, could we see that?
Yeah,
Okay,
I can forward it right now.
Yeah. And we can't vote on it today because
Yeah.
mayor doesn't count as a quorum.
But I thought it was
Ma-
50% the last
It's
time.
we see the break of
more,
the tide.
it's more than 50%.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you gotta have 4 votes, and we only
Well,
got
that'd
3.
be, I'd prefer that
Present.
anyway
Yeah.
with the entire council to discuss. But-
it would be, yeah, I'd like everybody's input on this here.
Cause it's not a small project,
No, absolutely not,
What do you
that's
get
why.
spent on it?
like an activity center. So it can adjust slightly, but the original proposal that we submitted for funding, for grant funding, has, like a U14. But as we push it out, we may find that the community has some different thoughts. So, like, it'll be,
What, just generally, what's an activity center?
so,
Like for?
an
for-
indoor type playground aspect.
Okay.
So when we talked about it, and you weren't on there before, but Somerset has a private one, and they're all over the place. If you look at Brookings, so they have that museum, a lot of the things could be similar, where there's activities for the youth to do during the winter and hot months.
Is this gonna be staffed 8 hours a day?
No.
So how would someone get in there if they wanted to do something?
So what we talked about, or what I mentioned before, when I came on as not counsel, is that it would be similar to a,
Gym membership type thing where you
Right.
have almost a code or a card that you scan to open the door.
the individuals that have the key. And if there's special events, then someone may be staffed there for outside, or people out of town or whatever to potentially book. But the overall operating expenses are very, you got property taxes, cleaning and insurance and so forth, but.
Okay, let's do that. We'll, I guess, basically we should just table this then, huh?
Yep.
Table, item 11 until next meeting here on the 15th. Is that when we're gonna?
Next week.
Yeah, next week, yep.
And, so I need a motion to table item 11 till the
Make the
15th.
First motion to table it.
Brian made, the first motion to table item 11 till the 15th, next meeting.
I think Jason just seconded it.
Jason seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Item 12, appoint banks.
This is just routine stuff, just appointing our two depositories, which would be Dakota Bank and SD Fit. It's just a requirement, we do every July.
I think we've done this every year.
Yep, same thing with the
Dakota
next
Bank
one,
and
yep.
South Dakota Fit, so should be good.
Okay,
Need
I'll make the
motion?
first motion that we appoint Dakota Bank and SD Fit.
Karen made the first motion for Dakota Bank and South Dakota Fit, appointments.
I'll make second.
Brian seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Appoint our newspaper, the Groton Independent. We've been good with that, had no problems, so I'm good with that. If you guys are, need a motion.
I'll make the first motion to appoint Groton Independent for the newspaper.
Karen made the first motion.
I'll make a second.
Mike seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Item 14, our minutes from July. June 17th. I got it one in front of me here. Yeah, June 17th, if you'd like to look at that, see if there's any corrections or additions we need to add to it.
Is this like an AI thing or something?
No,
What
so
happened
that is
here?
the entire, so by law, a resolution needs to either be published separately, which would cost a little bit more money, sorry, or published in its entirety in the minutes.
Oh, good
So
grief.
that resolution is published in its entirety in the minutes, two of them.
Oh, okay. Chad, I'm gonna need you to read that.
One thing I noticed is that it's all one paragraph.
Lordy.
Hey, we keep them costs down.
Might cost you $1.
Stingy.
When we had the resolution, it was broken up. Right, in
Yeah, it looked.
it's in paragraphs, it's just printed here as block.
If I would've had it separated out, this would be one long set of minutes.
motion to approve June 17th meeting minutes.
Brian made the first motion to approve the minutes from, June 17th, 2025.
Like second.
Mike seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Our bills are in front of you. If you would like to look at those, please, and if you have any questions. With the baseball, there's a tournament in town this weekend.
Yep.
What is it,
State
state?
U12,
12U state tournament,
yeah, U12,
12 and under,
12 and under?
I think it's a pretty big one too.
yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
15 teams on 2 fields here, 1 in Columbia. Not that I wrote a story about it.
I think it's one of the biggest tournaments that we've held for baseball in Groton. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Good. I was gonna do it this morning.
In fact, I think it is the largest.
Pardon?
I think it might be the largest tournament we've held.
Good, good.
Yeah, the lodge and the castle house is booked
And
all
your
weekend.
kids play in it?
Exciting.
Both of them.
Not 12U.
What's the ages from?
U12.
12 and under,
12 and under.
U12,
What's the years on?
I got T-ball and softball this year.
Okay.
I was late 'cause
They said you were pitching, I thought, well, the T-ball, you don't gotta pitch the ball, you gotta put it on the damn
it's like throwing darts.
Yeah, reverse.
Huh?
I have them swing first, and all the kids have the same swing, so you know where they're gonna swing.
There
Just
you
try
go,
and throw where the
you
bat's
gotta
gonna
be
be.
able to throw it
You
there.
spraying tonight?
Oh, yeah, once you get it done, yeah.
It's gonna be a late one for you.
Who said I was pitching?
45 or
I did, I
whatever.
saw.
Huh?
Oh, you were there? Did you see me,
The later, the less likely you're gonna have people out.
knock over the
there.
kid?
There you go.
What'd you do?
Did you see that? I felt so bad.
You plowed it down.
Did you see it?
No.
Oh.
No, you just told me you
Oh,
did.
yeah, I felt, well, I didn't use the words plowed
Oh.
down. You did, and I was like, oh my God, did it look that bad?
That's what we all talked
Oh,
about in
yeah,
the
I know.
stands.
I know. I was like, God, how'd that look?
No,
See, it
I
look
didn't
that
see
bad.
it.
I felt so bad for the poor kid.
Executive payroll, that seems kind of weird.
I have a question. What is culture and recreation?
Where's what?
It's mayor's pay.
Douglas,
Culture and recreation,
what is
but
culture?
Police report.
it's the Groveland Way.
Are you going out spraying tonight?
That'd be,
Oh.
I honestly don't know why
You going
culture's
out
in there, but
spraying
that's
tonight?
just how Fund Accounting considers it, but that would be all of our parks and recreation
Oh.
budget. Everything from the pool, anything that isn't full-time staff essentially goes into that
Okay,
for payroll.
I didn't know if we had anything else. I was wondering.
Hey, we could get one.
Where's it at, Karen, on the first page?
Yeah.
She was asking
What was
about
it called?
Culture and recreation.
And
She wanted to
recreation.
know.
I wanted to know what was the definition of culture.
And I said it was the Groveland Way.
I'll make a motion to approve the
Is
bills.
that our art museum? We don't.
I'll make the motion to approve the bills.
Okay.
Mike
I'll
made the first motion to approve the bills of
Second.
July 2025.
I'll second.
Karen seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. It is 9:02, and I need a motion to go into executive session, personal and legal 1-25-2, parentheses 1 and 3.
Make first motion.
Make the first
Oh,
Jason got it.
Hey, Rick, I thought you fell asleep on us. Jason made the first motion. Brian?
I got the second one.
Brian seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion's carried. It is 9:02, and we're gonna go into executive.